Thanks for joining us on the CBN News Channel. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. U.S. embassies in 19 cities in the Muslim world remain in lockdown today. The State Department closed them after they intercepted intelligence that showed high-level al-Qaeda terrorists are planning a major attack. U.S. officials called the intercepted threats against Americans serious and credible. Nearly 24 embassies and consulates across the Middle East and North Africa are closed. And the State Department says they could stay that way through the end of the week.
We've received information that high-level people from al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula are talking about a major attack, and these are people in a high level.
This threat was so specific as to how enormous it was going to be, and also there were certain dates were given, but it didn't specify where it's going to be.
Officials say the plot is considered, quote, very active, and al-Qaeda could change its tactics now that the U.S. is aware of key details of the planned attacks. It's being led by Nazar al-Wuhashi, Osama bin Laden's former personal secretary. He's based in the Arabian Peninsula, home to the most deadly of all the al-Qaeda affiliates. One surprise, according to authorities, al-Qaeda operatives talked about the plot, possibly knowing it would be intercepted.
This is a wake-up call. Al-Qaeda is in many ways stronger than it was before 9/11 because it's mutated and it's spread and it can come at us from different directions.
Intelligence officials say they don't know the exact nature of the threat, but they say al-Qaeda has been working for years on bombs that can't be detected, like liquid explosives or bombs they implant in their own bodies.
Their expertise is chemical explosives hitting the aviation sector, as we saw with the underwear bomber. So we are on a high state of alert.
The U.S. has also issued a travel alert to Americans abroad, warning them to stay away from public transportation and tourist hotspots. Congressman King says he's seen the intelligence that sparked the embassy shutdown, and this is not some attempt by the Obama administration to deflect the ongoing NSA domestic spying scandal.
Iran's new president made anti-Israel comments just before Iran celebrated his inauguration Sunday. Hassan Rouhani said the Zionist regime has been a wound on the body of the Islamic world for years, and the wound should be removed. Later, comments on Rouhani's website deleted that direct reference to removing Israel. Iran, of course, has long viewed Israel as its archenemy, and most expect that view will continue. But some thought the new president might follow a more moderate path than his predecessor, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad.
The U.S. State Department is now recognizing gay marriages on visa applications. Friday, Secretary of State John Kerry announced the state will begin processing visa applications for same-sex couples in the same way it does for heterosexual couples. Kerry said gay marriage is valid under U.S. immigration law, so long as the couple was wed in a jurisdiction that recognizes same-sex unions. This summer, the Supreme Court struck down portions of the federal law defining marriage as between one man and one woman.
Police are investigating the motive behind a deadly hit-and-run car accident on a crowded boardwalk in Venice Beach, California. Authorities say 38-year-old Nathan Campbell of Los Angeles turned himself in after fleeing the scene. Surveillance video shows a man parking a black car along the boardwalk before getting back in later and then plowing into the sea of people. The driver accelerated his black Dodge Avenger through the crowd, hitting one person after another as people desperately tried to get out of the way. Witnesses say the car was traveling at about 35 to 40 miles per hour along the boardwalk. An Italian woman in the U.S. on her honeymoon was killed and 11 others were injured. Campbell is being held on $1 million bail.
House Republicans voted for the 40th time to block Obamacare from taking effect Friday. It is seen as a symbolic step since the measure will be ignored in the Senate. It's been 3 years since Obamacare became the law of the land. Many problems were made about the law that would change Americans' health care system for the better. But as Jennifer Wishon reports, critics say Obamacare isn't living up to its promises.
It's supposed to create jobs, provide health insurance for all Americans who want it, and save money. Instead, the Affordable Care Act for many Americans has already become a source of heartburn.
This is legislation that was 2,500 pages long, now 20,000 pages of legislation.
That's 17,500 pages of new regulations written by bureaucrats, on top of an already complex law passed by Congress. After catching heat for several weeks, President Obama is working to promote the positives of the law he maintains will help those in need.
Affordable health care is not some privilege just for the few. It's a basic right that everybody should be able to enjoy.
His efforts came one day after the House voted for the 38th time to eliminate, cut funding, or scale back the law. Already the mandate that businesses provide coverage for their workers has been put on hold because new regulations made it too difficult for companies to comply.
For example, there is the employer mandate, the requirement that businesses with 50 or more full-time equivalent employees provide health insurance or pay penalties. That was a 3.5-page provision that got turned into a 144-page regulation with 44 definitions.
One study predicts Obamacare will put more than 3 million jobs in jeopardy. Even union bosses who once supported the law are now calling on Congress to fix it. In a letter to Democrat leaders, they write, "The Affordable Care Act would shatter not only our hard-earned health benefits, but destroy the foundation of the 40-hour work week that is the backbone of the American middle class. We have a problem," they write. "You need to fix it."
This is going to be a big lose-lose-lose for a lot of union members, and I think that if there isn't a resolution in Congress, if they don't reopen the law, a lot of them are going to question why they're paying all these dues to leadership that doesn't really represent their interests.
President Obama maintains that Americans who like their insurance plan can keep it, but that's not turning out to be the case. According to a study of 11,000 plans on the individual market, less than 2% comply with Obamacare. That means 98% of plans must change, or the people using them must find new plans.
We're spending a lot of money in helping relatively few people. In many ways, it probably would have been simpler and cheaper just to give everybody money to buy insurance.
It's true more Americans will have health insurance under Obamacare, but that will lead to greater demands on the healthcare system.
The government's own chief actuary says that about 15% of hospitals will close as a result of this because they're no longer viable.
Still, even after all 20,000 pages of regulations are implemented, not all Americans will be insured. CBO estimates by the year 2023, 30 million Americans still won't have insurance. And by that time, America will have spent nearly $2 trillion implementing the law.
We're spending a lot of money in helping relatively few people. In many ways, it probably would have been simpler and cheaper just to give everybody money to buy insurance.
Obamacare gives extraordinary discretion to the Secretary of Health. In fact, some 1,000 times, the law gives her power to create definitions and regulations. And that's why the number of pages in the law keeps on growing. The law is so complex, even some Democrats worry it will be tough to implement. Some also fear it will become a political liability for them in next year's elections. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
The governor of Pennsylvania has taken steps to stop illegal same-sex marriages taking place in one Pennsylvania county. Last week, Montgomery County registrar defied a state ban on gay marriage and started issuing licenses to homosexual couples. He's issued at least 34 such licenses so far. Governor Tom Corbett is suing County Registrar Bruce Haynes to make him stop violating the state law that defines marriage as between a man and a woman. Haynes started issuing gay marriage licenses after the state's Attorney General, Kathleen Kane, said she will no longer defend the law.
Some call it a case of government surveillance gone wrong, and now a federal court has rejected the government's bid to dismiss a lawsuit from the Marine who was wrongfully arrested by FBI, Secret Service agents and police. He had posted controversial song lyrics and political views on his Facebook page. The officers then showed up at Brandon Robb's home more than a year ago and then detained him in a psychiatric ward for a week. A U.S. district judge ruled there is sufficient evidence to suggest Robb's involuntary commitment violated his First and Fourth Amendment rights. The arrest was the result of a federal surveillance program called Operation Vigilant Eagle.
A Planned Parenthood affiliate in Texas agreed to pay a settlement of $4.3 million after a fraud investigation. The Houston Chronicle reports the abortion company was accused of submitting more than $30 million in fraudulent Medicare claims. According to the Texas Attorney General's office, state investigators determined that Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast falsified material information in patients' medical records in order to support fraudulent reimbursement claims to the Medicaid program. Americans United for Life reports that since 2009, at least 66 abortion providers in 23 states have faced investigations, criminal charges, lawsuits, or have been cited for violating state laws.
Consumer Reports is in the business of rating the best and worst products. Now they're putting out a list of best and worst places to have an operation. Medical reporter Lori Johnson says the results may surprise you.
Consumer Reports reviewed 2,500 hospitals, paying particular attention to the Medicare patients. The hospitals were ranked based on the percentage of patients who either died or stayed longer than expected after being operated on for things like knee replacement or angioplasty.
This will give an indication that if a patient either died or stayed longer than expected for their procedure, that suggests that something went wrong.
The hospitals that scored the best are some of the least well-known, like Oklahoma Heart Hospital, Enloe Medical Center in California, and the Greater Baltimore Medical Center, while some of the country's most prestigious medical centers came in lower than you might expect.
The most important finding is that big-name hospitals don't always perform better than your name hospitals that you don't recognize.
Critics say the findings are misleading because the hospitals that were rated poorly often take on the most challenging cases that would, through no fault of their own, result in a greater number of complications. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, if disaster strikes, one group is always ready. We'll take you inside the world of doomsday preppers.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes now.
A major solar flare nearly hit Earth last month, and it could have generated a massive electromagnetic pulse. The Washington Examiner reports the pulse would have been so large it could have knocked out power across the U.S., not only to homes, but also to cars and mobile devices like smartphones. Some former government officials are trying to get Washington to strengthen the U.S. power grid for a major solar flare. Not much progress has been made.
Are you ready for a major natural disaster, a crippling economic crisis, or even a long power outage? There is one group of people prepared for such catastrophes, big and small. They're called preppers, and they're growing in number. Chuck Holton has that story.
We can have an economic collapse. We can have terrorist attacks. We can have social unrest, a natural disaster, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes.
Keith Eiton is a die-hard prepper and recently started a business helping others get ready too.
The biggest problem we suffer here in North America is complacency. People figure since, well, nothing has happened in X amount of years, nothing bad will ever happen.
You know, survivalists are sometimes portrayed as these wild-eyed crazies waiting for the zombie apocalypse. But with the state of the economy and in today's world, being prepared is more popular than ever. In the mountains of North Carolina, a couple thousand people got together at the Carolina Readiness Seminar to discuss the risks and find out what they can do about them.
It's very environmental, very green, takes us off of fossil fuels, and very easy to do.
Joel Henderson is the co-owner of Green Gold Filters, one of the vendors at the Prepper Convention. His patented filtration system is helping folks accomplish something that America has been trying to do for years: run a vehicle without foreign oil.
If anybody has a diesel engine, diesel truck, tractor, generator, you can use used cooking oil as an alternative diesel fuel or motor oil. If you go to the restaurants, this right here is a local restaurant here in Asheville, Indian restaurant. This is their used cooking oil that they were throwing away. We went and picked it up, ran it through our filter system, and now we have a nice alternative diesel fuel that I'll put right in my tank.
This movement is being helped along by a new trend in television shows about the subject. The most popular is National Geographic's Doomsday Preppers.
Doomsday Preppers is the highest rated show right now ever on National Geographic. It's a show about your average American family, unique people that are prepping for any of life's uncertainties, whether that be an economic collapse to a solar flare. No matter what it is, they're going to be prepared.
One of the challenges for the show is that most preppers aren't eager to advertise their stockpiles of supplies, since if the bottom drops out, looting could be a real problem.
We do understand that, it could be a risk to people, but we do respect people's privacy on the show. We don't have to say your first name or last name. We don't have to say where you're from. And we try to get in the lives of many diverse preppers and have each prepper, give a takeaway to our viewers so they can learn more about prepping.
But Keith Eiton says the first step to being prepared has nothing to do with canned food or bottled water.
Your first thing in preparedness, for me personally, is your relationship with Jesus Christ. That's the very first thing. If you build a solid relationship with Jesus Christ, then after that, if you can get food, water stored away, a little safe retreat, things of that nature, it'll all fall into place. You want to be able to feed yourself, feed your family, help a neighbor, help a friend.
100 years ago, it wasn't strange for a family to have a basement full of food, but that's changed. Most Americans today have less than 3 days' supply of food stored up, and many have no emergency supplies or even a first aid kit. But with the infrastructure of America getting more and more fragile every day, maybe it's not a bad idea to stock up, just in case. From an undisclosed location in North Carolina, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Up next, a former felon faces the harsh reality of life on the outside. See how this ex-offender gets a fresh start.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need, just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions, just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card, just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
You're watching CBN News Channel.
Every year, more than 700,000 people are released from state and federal prisons.
That's right, and life on the outside is pretty tough for many of them because employers are reluctant to hire ex-cons. But I found one man who's helping some of them get a new start in life. Sean Collins Harris once dreamed of traveling the world as a motivational speaker. In college, that all changed when he got caught up with the wrong crowd and started selling drugs.
I wanted to make money. At the same time, I wanted to make quick money.
That desire eventually landed him behind bars.
I was sentenced to 5 years in the state penitentiary for possession with intent to distribute more than 5 pounds of marijuana while in possession of a firearm.
After serving his time, he ran into a familiar problem, his record.
You got to put food on the table. You got to provide for a household. How are you going to handle these responsibilities when people are afraid of you because you're a convicted felon? They've been told not to hire convicted felons.
Dr. Tokes Edo sees it all too often. After taking part in his church's prison ministry, Dr. Edo noticed a trend among prisoners re-entering society.
As it got close to the time of the men's release, a lot of them became apprehensive. I found out that a lot of them didn't want to go back to the same old neighborhoods. They didn't want to go back to the same guys they hung out with.
When you get so many doors closed in your face, what is there left to do? Like, what can you do? I had a child, I have a wife, so it was either one or two things. Go back to what it is that I knew how to do, because trust me, that same old gang was there.
For that reason, Dr. Edo created Leadership Call, an organization helping remove barriers for ex-offenders across Virginia.
Unfortunately, most of these men have been given a bad rap. They've already paid their dues by going to prison. They don't have to keep on paying when they get out.
Leadership Call helps participants tear down negative mindsets while discovering their strengths and abilities.
All we're trying to do is find out what it is that God has deposited in each individual and help them tap into that to become self-governed.
One method is by helping ex-offenders start their own businesses. Dr. Edo uses his experience as a consultant and defense contractor to get the ball rolling.
I'm a free market capitalist. I'm a firm believer in business. I mean, it's huge. Gosh, if there's one thing that works well, it's a free market. So I've seen that work tremendously well with the men. We have about an 85% rate of success.
Sean became a Christian while in prison, then went on to be one of the program's success stories.
I borrowed a lawnmower from my grandfather, went and borrowed a pressure washer from my wife's aunt. Now I own 3 pressure washers. Now I own 7 lawnmowers, trailers, and equipment, and run my own lawn care business. I have subcontractors under me that do roofing and all type of handyman services.
29-year-old gang member Mike Taylor faced an 8-year prison sentence for robbery. Before giving his life to Christ, Taylor felt he had a death wish after seeing so many friends killed in the streets.
I was ready for whatever. If I would have got shot and died right then I wouldn't have cared. And if I woke up tomorrow, I wouldn't have cared.
Now he cares about the plans for his new T-shirt business and nonprofit organization, thanks to the program's biblical principles and discipleship. That will help him to do good in the communities where he once did so much bad.
I'm not worried about the money. I'm just worried about, making a difference when I leave here. I just want to leave a great legacy that's going to last future generations.
Dr. Edo says when inmates complete their 12-month participation in Leadership Call,
The outcome is renewed hope and transformed lives.
You know, it's sad we recycle everything. The only thing we don't recycle is human capital. I mean, think about it. Created in God's image, but we dump it, we trash it, and just, let it go. So in a way, I'm in the recycling business, but it's awesome to see when they get it and they run with a vision.
I'm just giving God the glory for everything that he's doing and just standing in awe and can't wait to see what he's going to do next.
I think it's also so important to say that this program has been so successful across Virginia that the governor really endorses it, and it's actually going to be going nationwide. So you'll hear more about this program. It's a great program.
That's some good news. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Finally today, Christian love in action.
Operation Blessing is offering urgently needed aid to South Sudanese refugees. Ongoing conflict in Khartoum and Darfur has forced families to flee their homes in search of safety. OB, in partnership with the Rumbek Catholic Diocese, distributed 25,000 pounds of food. Grateful refugees received items like beans, rice, flour, and other relief supplies.
As always, kudos to Operation Blessing.
Indeed, putting feet to that faith.
Definitely. Well, that's going to do it now for the CBN News Channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a marvelous Monday, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957. Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. all the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.